My name is Lamar Jackson, and I decided that I would take a couple of minutes to kind of introduce myself to everybody out there and kind of let you know about who I am as a person and a little bit about my background and some of my viewpoints on a few things that we're experiencing out here in America as black people. So, just to let you know, again, my name is Lamar Jackson. I'm 34. I'm not exactly an old dude, but I'm not exactly, a young buck either. I'm 34. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, but I was raised in San Diego, California. Just a little bit about where I grew up at. I grew up in a neighborhood in San Diego called Emerald Hills, which is in southeast San Diego, which is considered to be one of the rougher parts of San Diego, depending upon who you talk to. I went to a school called St. Stephen's Christian School, which was a very, very different experience considering the fact that it's a Christian school, but it was very strongly influenced with a lot of culturally relevant material as far as especially when it related to black people. So I owe a lot of who I am as far as my consciousness and my understanding of spirituality from that experience. See, I'm a father, and I'm also married to a very wonderful woman, and I'm a father of definitely a young man that hopefully one day I will have some level of influence in creating a world for him that, I could be proud of. And it kind of goes into, what's my overall goal out here on social media, which is initially, I didn't even want to get involved in social media. I just seen that it was just a lot of foolishness going on, and it just wasn't really something that I was very interested in. But understanding that this is a very important medium to reach a lot of people, I decided to turn this platform into something that can assist in the overall education and liberation of our people as a whole. So, with that understanding, a lot of the things that you're going to be seeing from me on these different platforms, be it Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or any other thing that we come up with in the future, is some resources to pretty much help our people get some level of context about what's going on out here and what's happened to us in the past, because a lot of this stuff is a continuation of things that were developed and done way before many of us were even thought of. So we're talking, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. And the understanding that, although those things happened well before our time, that they're part of the fabric that makes up a lot of the systems and institutions that we have to deal with today. So, also, understanding, too, that it's not enough to just know what happened, but what to do about what's going on. So I have some insights on that as well, because that's a lot of what I have to do for a living in my profession, as I am a person that works with an agency called the Alliance for African Assistance, but I've also had a whole lot of experience in running youth programs and doing a lot of grassroots organizing and a lot of other different things. So I bring a unique perspective, from a knowledge standpoint and from a practical experience standpoint. And, just feel free to ask me any of the questions. The reason why I like to do videos is because, whether we like it or not, a lot of people don't really value reading as much as they should. And although I definitely value reading a great deal, the very important point right now is that the information has to get out there, to people, and people have to begin to start being sparked into critically thinking for themselves. And in doing so, it's important that they're armed with a proper information base so that they can kind of filter out a lot of BS that you're going to see either on the news or from other people and whatnot. So you're going to see a lot of videos around a lot of different varying subjects, but mostly around really four main themes. Really, it's the history, a true history of ourselves, because I think a lot of what we hear about even our own history is shadowed in myth, and a lot of different aspects of it are embellished upon. And so it becomes very difficult if you're not armed with the truth about what happened to us, specifically as black people, and what we did about it. It makes it very difficult to be able to recreate some of the things that we actually did for ourselves if we don't have a real good understanding as to what actually happened. So that's one theme that you're going to see a lot of my posts. Another thing that you're going to see in a lot of my posts is real information about the history of the United States. And the reason why that's important is because the United States, whether we realize this or not, has influenced so much of what is taking place all over the world. And a lot of it has been systematically hidden from us, and that's not by accident. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you went to a bad school or anything. It's just understanding that systematically that was withheld from us. And the reason why that's important is because so much of what we're dealing with is in those details. And as we move along in our journey of liberation of our people, we have to understand who the enemy is and what they are trying to do to us. As part of the art of war tells us that, as much intel you can have about the enemy as possible and their tactics is going to aid you in battle. So, that's going to be a consistent theme that you're going to see in my post as well. And in addition to that, you're going to see posts relating to tactics that we need to develop first for ourselves, to begin to empower ourselves and begin to really prepare ourselves for the encounter that we're going to have with the systems that we're going to have to deal with for our own liberation, and tactics that we actually use once we have developed ourselves to really do these things. Then is the actual tactics that we're going to use in order to defeat our common enemy at this point in America. So you're going to see a lot of very specific information in that as well. Now, I will try to be as practical and as descriptive as possible, but some of the stuff is pretty complex because that's just the reality of the world that we live in. It is what it is on that. But this is not like to debate so much, even though I welcome that. I have no problem with that. But this is more, and it's not about a competition of who knows more or anything like that, because let me tell you something. I have no hidden agenda on this. I do very well for myself and will continue to do so. And it's not about me or you or anybody else. It's about us collectively having a similar understanding of what's happening and what we need to do and what we're going to do to fix it before we can really do anything about it that's meaningful.